Hey guys,
Hello.
welcome back.
How's it going?
This is my husband Aaron. For any of you guys that might be new around here, if you guys have been following for a while, you know that once a month we go Instagram live to talk about marriage, and then every Saturday we post or I post marriage content on my Instagram, and that's a place where you can just find resources, be encouraged, and a place where we are able to share our journey with you. We actually are celebrating something really special this weekend. It's our wedding anniversary.
Yeah, so you probably thought when the next time you'd see us, we'd been in our new house, but we're not in our new house. We're actually in our family condo. So we've had a condo up in Sun Valley, like with our extended family for, I don't know, like 30 years or something. I mean, a while.
Several years.
And so we always used to come up here and just like fish during the summers and stuff. But this is actually the first time that I've ever been up here without my parents, and obviously just here with Sarah. And it's pretty cool. So we're celebrating our 1 year wedding anniversary, which is tomorrow. And so we're kind of treating this kind of like a honeymoon in some ways. Just like, you know, on our honeymoon, we kind of just did whatever we felt like doing, had like a, you know, no agenda, just if we wanted to eat something, that's what we ate. If we wanted to buy something, that's what we bought. So here we are.
Nothing too expensive,
nothing crazy, but yeah, so you know, Sarah's gonna go over kind of just once again why we do this kind of thing, and I'll get into agenda in just a sec.
Yeah. So the reasons we talk about marriage in general, or first off, is because one, we believe that a lot of people are having a harder time wanting to get married, especially our upcoming generation, our generation as well. The second reason is a lot of people are having a harder time staying married. And then the last reason is because we believe that marriage is truly sacred and something worth investing in, and something to nurture all the time. Marriage is a lot of work, but it's always so worth it. At least we have found that to be our experience. And we do not have all the answers. We are still growing. We're still learning. Like he said, this is our first year of marriage, and we've learned a lot in the last year. So actually today what we're spending time on is we're going to make it kind of brief so you guys can get back to your Saturday. Hi, thanks for joining. But we're going to be talking about today what we learned in our first year of marriage, and we have about 4 things, and Aaron's going to kick it off for us, so go ahead.
We have 4 things we've learned in our first year of marriage, and one of those things, and it's kind of something that not only we've learned, but we've also know that we need to improve on, that we need to continue working with, and that's cues. So if you're taking notes, number 1 is cues here. And that cues means kind of like things to get us back on track. So sometimes, and I doubt there's very many relationships out there that don't have this kind of dynamic, but someone is going to say, chill out. Someone is going to say, relax. Someone is going to say, calm down. And it never works. Like, you know, if
those usually end up not being the best word choice.
Yeah, so telling somebody to calm down or to chill out or relax usually just pisses people off more.
Yeah,
and so
makes them more frustrated.
Yeah, so that doesn't, you know, we realize that doesn't really work very well in terms of what we're trying to get done, and doesn't remind us of, you know, the essence of what we're trying to do. And so actually we were hanging out with my sister a couple weekends ago, and we were in Eastern Idaho over in Victor. And she said they have this thing that they always say if they're trying to get a little defensive, and they say, same team. And we were like, you know, as silly as that, or you know, as it might sound, like we started using the same kind of thing. It's like if we get a little bit defensive, we're like, hey, same team. Like, are we, you know, can we kind of back off each other a little bit? And we realized, okay, like, do we need to be having this conversation, or this argument, not this conversation, but do we need to be arguing this way? Do we need to be, like, as hard-headed as we're being right now? Do we need to be, you know, as defensive as we're being right now? Probably not. Like, let's take 1 second, take a deep breath.
And just remember, we are on the same team, and we're not trying to fight against each other, even though it comes off that way. But again, at the end of the day, we are on the same team.
And we're both just really passionate people. Yeah. And so, you know, so if, you know, when you get in that position, I think just having those cues. So if you guys can find some way to have some cues where if you get into certain arguments that come back, because, you know, fortunately, unfortunately, some of the arguments that you have, you're going to have for the next 10, 15, 30, 50, whatever years, similar types of arguments. So if you can figure out ways to kind of diffuse those right off the bat, I think that's really, really helpful.
So just coming up with a cue or saying that can just kind of make you guys take a step back and realize we are on the same team. And maybe it is going to be the same phrase as we use, which is same team.
Yeah.
It could be whatever works for you guys. The second thing that we've learned this year, in the past year of marriage, would be basically just blending our families. That's been a huge thing for us this year. We've had a lot of personal family stuff going on this past year that's been really difficult. And we've been learning so much through that and growing through it together, and just learning how each other's family really operates and making that extra effort to get to know each other's families on a deeper level, and really building much stronger relationships with each other's family, because those are our people for life. Like, those are the people that we are going to be around the most, that we are going to do life with the most, at least for us personally. I know not everybody's near their family, so sometimes it's a little bit different. But for us, that's something that we've been really just learning and growing in a lot lately, is just navigating those relationships and also supporting each other's family, even when you disagree with each other's family sometimes, because that's going to happen. There are going to be disagreements, different views of certain things, and just learning to love each other's family regardless of your views, I think, is really important and is critical to any relationship, because it shows that you can still accept each other and love each other's family well.
This has helped us a lot with even, like, for me in particular, with, like, you know, my own family. Like, I don't communicate a lot. If you guys, anybody out there who knows me, like, I don't really tell anybody anything. I tell her things, but, like,
He's a very private person.
I just do my thing, you know. And so, so when, you know, I've been not forced necessarily, but kind of, you know, forced to kind of, you know, merge these two families together and get to know people that I don't know before, but then now I can call my brother, which I've never gotten to have brothers before, so now I have 4 brothers, you know. And so like, trying to, like, really get to know these people, it makes me realize, like, oh man, like, if I'm really trying to get to know these brothers, I probably need to get to know my sister, like, who's actually my sister, you know, better as well. And so she's been able to kind of help me out with that, my sister too, and also Sarah. So
yeah, I think it's just a different level. When you're dating, you're getting to know each other's family, and you might spend quite a bit of time with them, you know. But once you're married, it's like, okay, there is no going back. These are our people for life, and, like, we gotta step it up a notch. Like, we gotta really invest in each other a whole lot more. So we're just being called to do that this past year, and we're going to continue to do that in the following years.
Yeah.
The next thing that we've learned in our first year of marriage is
routine is everything. And I mean, for me, that's been the way it is for my whole life. I've got a lot of ADHD, and so if I don't have routine, I'm pretty much a wreck. But yeah, we found with so many things. I mean, meals, with waking up, going to sleep, with, you know, with working out, with you know, with praying, with growing, all these things. Like, if we don't have a routine, it's not that you just kind of are just waking up and just kind of being mindless, but in a lot of ways it kind of is that way. You know, it, like, and we've realized that we're not only more in tune with each other, but more in tune with the Lord and with our relationship in all of that. When we're praying together, you know, when we're going to bed at the same time, when we're waking up at the same time. I really like making breakfast or making a smoothie or whatever it is, and, like, waking up and being able to do that for Sarah is really awesome. You know,
so we've been trying to really plan our meals ahead of time, like knowing what we're gonna eat and when we're going to eat, instead of it just kind of be like, oh, whenever we feel like it, or whenever we feel like unwinding from the day when we come home, you know. Instead be like, no, we're gonna have dinner at this time, and this is what we're going to eat. We've come up with, like, a little schedule for throughout the week.
Yeah, if we don't have a schedule, we just want tacos and pizza, like, always.
Yeah. With that, we're, like you said, you know, routine is key. And so as he mentioned earlier, working out, that's been huge for us lately. We've been going to the gym a whole lot more than we have in the past, just because, you know, your first year
once a
of
week
marriage,
would be more than we have in the past.
But your first year of marriage, you may gain a few extra pounds, like we have. So, I mean, honestly, just keeping it real here, we definitely have, and we want to get back on track with just
it's fun.
Being healthy.
Yeah, it's fun to get, like, I mean, we've both worked out, and we've both been in really good shape, kind of separately, you know, in our lives, and when we dated too, or when we were dating. And now it's like a cool thing where we can kind of do this together, and we can focus on it together, and you know, and kind of like not challenge each other. We're not like getting in the gym and trying to like, you know,
compete with each
compete or anything. But you know, it's a way to hold each other accountable more often, and it's a
push
fun.
each other.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing because, you know, there's always, if any of you who know who works out, there's always at least one day a week where at least one day a week where you're just like, I just really don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And sometimes, hopefully, you know, your significant other does and can kind of push you to that. So.
Yeah. So the last thing that we've learned in our first year of marriage, this is the number 4, is budgeting. Budgeting has been really important for us this past year, and something we are really working on, just because it's been really hard, especially with merging your finances. It can get a little bit tricky sometimes, and also you have to learn to share your money. I mean, before we didn't merge our money or our finances at all, and until we got married, you know. And now that we're living together and we're, you know, got all of our finances together, we have to learn to kind of share our money and be okay if, you know, he wants to maybe buy a burrito or I want to maybe buy a new purse. No, I'm just kidding.
And that's usually all it is. It's mostly me food and her, like, you know, clothes and stuff.
But
But we have a few keys.
Back, by the way.
You know, that's the big thing, is we have a few keys that we wanted to share because it's really hard. It's really hard to put together, you know, 2 different financial philosophies, 2 different amounts of money, 2 different incomes, 2 different ways of saving, 2 different mentalities on saving.
Yeah.
And so, biggest thing I think, number 1, is like just improving little by little. Like, there are some things that she'll spend money on, and there's some things that I spend money on that each other look at and we're like, that makes no sense. Like, I don't get why you spend money on that. But
I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate, by the way.
Yeah, but that's humans. Like, there are different priorities that each human will have, and especially in a relationship. But I think if you can look at those things and just improve little by little and month by month, just in little ways, you can give yourself a little bit more grace too, in terms of getting better at this. And not having to, you know, make this full transition and make everything perfect right away.
Yeah, and I think it helps with having a priority list. So for us, because we bought a new house, we have a bunch of things.
That's number 2. Big priority list.
We have a bunch of things that we want to buy for our new house. And unfortunately, we just can't afford it. We can't buy everything all at once. So what we started to do is make a priority list of the things that we want the most and the things that we absolutely need, and then going down the list, it goes into like smaller things that we would like eventually, you know, at some point.
When we're like, you know, thinking there and sitting at a store, be like, oh, this is something we really want. We're like, okay, is it on the priority list? Is it high on the priority list? Is this something that if we bought, it would like put off that top priority for way more months? And if it's like, okay, if those are some of the issues that we're dealing with, then maybe we don't buy that. And maybe we save that a little bit more. But really having that priority list is really, really important. And that leads into our next kind of point is just having physical and wants versus needs. Like, and really understanding the difference between that. Because, yes, you like need that new rug, like really bad, but like you don't need it. But for example, you know, this last week, Sarah started her new job, and you know, she typically shoes go, for me at least, in the wants, not the needs, you know, category. But she came home from her first day and she just like, her feet hurt like crazy. She was like, I'm not gonna be able to do this, walking around with all these shoes and with like all this pain. And I'm like, that's why I wanted you to have like comfortable shoes. Let's go get some shoes. And so we went out, got some shoes. And it was like, you know, and that's my last kind of like point there is, you know, sometimes, you need to put your foot down, I feel like, in terms of the budgeting, whether it's from either side. But sometimes you also need to know when to kind of just bite the bullet and be like, hey, you know, this is something that even though it's in the wants category, it's probably a need right now for at least one of the 2 people. And if it's not like outlandish, you know, why can't you make that concession?
Yeah, and it made such a difference. It actually meant a lot that, as silly as it might sound, but it meant a lot that he was so supportive of that, just because, you know, I've just worn heels forever that are just so uncomfortable, and I finally was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I need heels that are comfortable. There's got to be something out there. And he didn't fight back on it. He was like, you know what, this is important because this is your new job and you're going to be walking a lot, you're going to be doing a lot of different things, and I want you to be comfortable in your shoes. So let's go get him. And that, I don't know, just him, it's all about compromise too, you know.
And I got some new shoes too. So.
You got some new shoes too.
I mean, there's there's your compromise, right?
Which were actually his present for our wedding anniversary. We both decided to get each other something, and so he got me something, and I got him shoes. That was what he wanted for his anniversary present, so it worked out. But really just learning to compromise, and really in all areas as much as possible, and again just remembering to be on the same page as much as possible, even though it's hard, and remembering that you are on the same team at the end of the day. That is so key. So I hope this has been helpful for you guys. We just wanted to share our heart on the things that we've been learning, and especially this last year of marriage, our first year of marriage.
Yeah.
And there's so many more years to come, and so many more growing opportunities to come as well.
Yeah, when it's crazy, like, I mean, I know that, I mean, a lot of Sarah's friends, so maybe a lot of those of you out there had started getting married a few years ago, you know, and now, like, for me, like, a lot of my friends are starting to get married. And so we just want to be an encouragement to, you know, anybody who's like kind of starting to get engaged or thinking about getting into that realm, or just got married or whatever it is. So if you guys ever want to just shoot over anything, obviously to Sarah's account or my account or anything like that, just questions about what you want to hear from us, because once again, like, we're not experts, but we do know that one of the things that's given us a lot of comfort, I think, in the first year of our marriage is listening to other couples that are, especially in their early stages of marriage, also say that they have problems, you know, and they deal with different things, ups and downs and stuff, and it's very comforting. I think so. If we can be that to you, we just want to do that. So that's all I got. But
So thank you guys for joining. Just a reminder. So tomorrow, I usually post encouragement and things like that on Sundays, but tomorrow I will be posting our wedding video, since our wedding anniversary is technically tomorrow. So I'll be posting that, so make sure to stay tuned, and then I'll also be sharing some wedding photos as well.
Should probably share a photo later tonight too, because somebody gave her gift.
Ooh,
but
I'm
she
excited.
Doesn't know yet.
I don't know what it is yet, so I'm excited. But anyways, we're gonna go enjoy the rest of our weekend, and hope you guys have an awesome weekend as well, and thanks for joining.
All right, see you guys.